Morning everybody, it's Rob, Yoga Dad, and it is day 23 of my summer stretch challenge. Really delighted that you've been able to find the time to join me today, either Facebook Live, 8:30 or YouTube anytime. This is all about prioritising our own well-being just for that 15 minutes a day. So really be proud of the fact that you're kind of taking this time out for yourselves and looking after yourselves that little bit. But also, alongside that, supporting some amazing causes that I am raising donations for through this campaign, and I've got fundraising links pinned to the top of my Yoga Dad page and also on my yogadad.co.uk website. Anyway, let's get started with today's session, and we are going to be starting in a kneeling position, so kneeling forward. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to start in a kneeling position. The reason why I hesitate a little bit is because for some people this feels really uncomfortable, particularly across the knees, maybe across the tops of the feet as well, the toes. So just find a position that works well for you as we start off. So maybe in a comfortable cross-legged position, or just laying down on the floor, feet out wider than the hips, knees knocking in together. I'm going to start in this position. So I'm going to bring my knees in towards one another. I'm going to take my arms down alongside the body, just resting the head down towards the floor. Bring ourselves into this virtual space, this 15 minutes that we've got together this morning. Just settling in. If you've had a busy start to the day, as I have, getting the boys into nursery for their final day, then just taking this minute out just to check in with how we feel energetically, emotionally, maybe any aches or tension, injuries that we may be carrying. And just using that to kind of frame our purpose, our intention, our aims for this 15 minutes that we've got. And at the end of the session, just using it as a means by which we can kind of benchmark how far we've come, even in that short amount of time. Now, whatever position you've started in this morning, then bring yourself up into an all fours position. Okay, so hands out to shoulder distance apart, knees underneath the hips and tucking the toes under. Now we'll just start by inhaling and lift our head up, so arching the spine, tailbone pointing up, exhaling chin to chest. Rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone under. Do that a couple more times. Just inviting that length, space, along the full length of the spine, all the way from the base of the neck, down towards the tailbone. But also that space that we're creating along the front body, all the way from the jawline, down towards the navel and the pelvis. And just final exhale, bringing the chin into the chest, and then back to a neutral position. We'll just slowly now take our hips back towards our heels, and then pressing down through the balls of the feet, we're going to lift ourselves back up again. So just as far as shoulders over the wrists. We'll take ourselves back again. Inhaling as we lift up. Exhaling as we lower back down. Now we'll just bring some movement into this, so just taking whatever movement works for you. So maybe taking the hips from one side to the other as you round forward, and then to the other as you come back. Now as we explore the range of movement that's available in the body, we may want to arch the spine as we move our hips, rounding the spine, and just integrating the breath with that movement as much as feels good to you. So just inviting that bit more space, opportunity just to ease any tensions you might be experiencing this morning, and just bringing some more energy into the body. Okay, bring yourself back into that all fours position. Let's take our hips back towards the heels again, and we're going to take our hands all the way out towards the top of the mat if you're using one. So if you're not, just stretching those fingers out and then lowering the head down between the upper arms. So again, if you need any support at all, feel free just to put a cushion, dinosaur pillow, that type of thing beneath the hips down towards the heels, or feel free just to lift your hips up that little bit higher just to avoid any discomfort. But really focusing here on stretching those fingers away from the tailbone and really extending all the way along the side body. maybe even closing the eyes, inhaling as we lift up, just ever so slightly, ever so subtly. And exhaling as we sink the chest down towards the back. Now, landing the forearms down, landing the elbows down on the floor. We're going to drag our chin forward, all the way between the upper arms, all the way up towards the hands. And when we get there, we're going to take our toes and just place our tops of our feet flat down on the floor. Now, keeping our hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to keep our feet hip distance apart, hips nice and grounded down through the floor, elbows tucking in. We're going to inhale, lift our crown of our head up, lengthening all the way along the back body, and exhaling back down again. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhaling, lift up, and back down. Twice more. Really feeling the chest expanding forward between the upper arms. There shouldn't be any pinching, any discomfort at all for the lower back. If it feels too strong, then just decrease the bend in the back. Okay, tucking the toes under. We'll still keep on our knees. We're going to press down through the hands, keeping those elbows tucked in. We're going to lift ourselves up into a plank position, still with our knees down. So shoulders above the wrists, tailbone tucking under, length all the way along the back body. Option here to press down through the balls of the feet as we lift our knees up off the floor into a full plank position. Okay, lower the knees back down again. We're going to take our hips back towards the heels once more. We're going to press down through the balls of the feet as we lift our hips now up towards the ceiling or the sky above us. Maybe just walking the feet in ever so slightly, still hip distance apart, keeping those knees nice and bent. We press down now to all 4 corners of the palms. We lengthen along the side body down towards the hips, and then just start lifting one heel and then the other as we extend out along the back of the legs, all the way from the heel to the hip socket. We're just exploring that sensation of length that we're creating all the way along the body, from the hands all the way down towards the feet. Now bringing the feet back into a neutral position. Don't worry too much if the heels aren't reaching down towards the floor. Bending the knees and then slowly walking the hands back towards the feet. Lifting yourself up, so still keeping yourself in that forward fold position. So hands now onto the shins on an inhale. Exhaling to fold forward, and again, just bending the knees as much as you need this morning. Crossing the forearms over one another, and now allowing the head just to sink down towards the floor. And the whole upper body weight just sinking down, just creating some more space, again along the length of the spine, and really focusing on the lower back now. Option here just to straighten those knees, straighten those legs, and just to increase the intensity all the way along the back of the legs, and maybe even just rocking from side to side, swinging the upper body out, just pendulum like. Now allowing the fingers just to cascade down towards the floor. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bend our knees, and in fact we're going to walk ourselves back down towards the floor. So we take our knees now down towards the floor. We're going to press down through the heels, through the knees, and we're going to lift our hips up off the heels. We're going to take our right foot forward. In fact, my blocks. So I've got 2 blocks here as well. Feel free just to use any thick blocks, that type of thing. Just provide that bit of extra height and support when we need it in these kind of lunge and hamstring stretch poses. I'm going to heel toe that front foot forward to a point which I feel the stretch, both along the back of the front leg, but also more importantly along the inside of the back leg, and just increasing that distance between that front foot and back knee just to improve stability. Bringing the hands now across the front knee, lifting the upper body up away from that front thigh, and then sinking the hips back down again. Option here to take the palms out in front, thumbs up towards the ceiling. An option again just to lift the arms up and overhead. So really reaching the fingers up, do length along the side body, hips sinking down towards the floor. Now inhaling this time, we'll exhale and fold forward and frame those fingers around the front foot. And now we're going to rock onto the back of that front heel as we now straighten that right leg. Now I've got the blocks here, I'm going to use them. Just provide that little bit of extra support for the hands, but also length along the upper body and space across the chest. Really feeling that stretch now all the way along the back of the right leg. I'm going to land that front foot back down again. I'm going to take the hands back forward. So we're going through like a mini flow here. So inhaling, lifting the arms back up and overhead. Exhaling back down, hands back onto the blocks, rolling onto the back of that right heel. And then again, landing that right foot down, inhaling, lifting the arms up. really sinking those hips forward and down along the inside of the right thigh. Exhaling back down again. Rolling onto the back of that right heel one more time. And then back down. Okay, let's now take the hands forward. Framing that front foot. So pressing down now through the ball of the left foot, lifting that left knee up off the floor as long as it feels comfortable for you. And then we're going to press down through both palms. And if you need any extra height at all, again, just use the blocks. Just provide that little bit of extra support. For me, I'm going to take the right foot back now to meet the left. We're back into that plank position where we were earlier. Option to lower the knees or keep them lifted up. Shoulders above the wrists. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, slowly lowering down, keeping those elbows tucked in towards the ribs. Untucking the toes when you get down there. Hands underneath the shoulders again. Inhaling, lift up into the back bend. Exhaling back down. And this time we inhale and look over our left shoulder down towards the left heel. And back down. And over our right shoulder down towards the right heel. And back down. Tucking the toes back under, pressing down through the palms. Lifting up into a plank position. Pressing the hips up and back again. Back into our downward dog position. And again, as we did before, just lifting one heel and then the other. And you might find there's just that little bit more length now, particularly along the back of the right leg where we've just done that hamstring stretch. Okay, bending the knees again, walking the hands back towards the feet, inhaling hands to shins with a flat back, exhaling to fold forward, bending the knees, taking the knees back down towards the floor, toes tucked under, again, hands to hips, hips away from the heels. This time we'll take the left foot forward. So heel toe in that left foot forward this time, and as we did before, increasing the distance between the left foot and the right knee if you need it to improve stability. Hands across that front knee, pressing down through the palms, across that front knee, lifting the upper body away, and then on exhale, sinking the hips forward and down towards the floor. Option to take the hands out in front again, thumbs up towards the ceiling, inhaling, lifting the arms up and overhead, feeling that length all the way along the side body again, down towards the hips, and feeling that stretch all the way along, particularly in the inside of the right thigh. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling back down again, and again we're going to roll now onto the back of the left heel, extend into that hamstring stretch on the left hand side, really feeling that length all the way from the left heel up towards the left hip socket, maintaining that length again, using the support where you need it, just to maximise that length along the spine, space across the chest, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen that stretch, rolling back down again with that left foot, inhaling, lifting the arms up, sinking the hips forward and down, exhaling back down again, rolling onto the back of that left heel once more, pressing down, lifting and lengthening the upper body as you inhale and exhaling to fold. One more time, inhale and lift up, lifting those arms back up and overhead into that lunge position. Exhaling back down one final time. And you might find with that extra bit of length you've now got in the hamstrings, along the calf muscles, you can maybe move those blocks, those hands that little bit further forward as you can deepen into the stretch and lower the upper body forward across that straight front leg. Slowly lowering that left foot back down again. Hands now framing that front foot, or again using the blocks if you need it. Pressing down through the ball of the right foot, lifting the right knee off the ground. Taking the left foot back now towards the right. I'm just going to move those blocks away. Arrive into our plank position, knees lifted or lowered. And again, tailbone tucking under, length all the way along the back body from the back of the head down towards the heels. And to lengthen. Exhale to lower the chin down, elbows tucked in, and tucking the toes. One final back bend. Lifting the head up on an inhale, exhaling back down again. And maybe even this time, we just take our hands away from the floor. Inhaling to lift up, and back down. And one more. Inhaling, lift up, and back down. Tucking the toes back under, pressing down as you inhale and back into our plank position. Lowering the knees back down. Walking the hands back towards the knees. Hips towards the heels as we arrive back into our kneeling position. And I'll just bring myself back round now into a comfortable cross-legged position. I'm going to use the block as a bit of extra support to prop my hips up, just so they're that little bit higher than the knees, provide that little bit more space along the inner thighs and across the hips. Hands across the knees, close the eyes. I'm just taking one final moment just to check in with how you now feel energetically, emotionally. Any aches or tension you were experiencing at the start of the session, how that now feels. The fluidity, the depth, the length of the breath. The space that's created in the body, supporting the muscle release but also inviting calm into the mind. Nice soft gaze, open the eyes. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed the session.